Going back and thinking about it, this episode was also kind of housekeeping-y. This episode being Rosebuds. The first episode caught us up on the current status quo of the show and on Jasper. The second episode gave us a taste of how these Steven deals with his flaws episodes are going to go moving forward in a very comedic way. And this episode gets us caught up on what's been going on with the Zoomin and the Zoo and the Famethyst and those rose quartz that were bubbled on the Zoo space station and were definitely real, which I had theorized that they weren't. Though I also theorized that they might be real, but that Rose created them in part to make her disguise more believable, because she did definitely at first try to disguise herself as an amethyst, and I imagine that once she went super public with that persona, the other diamonds wouldn't have bought it. Because it's not flat out said in this episode, but the implication is, based on the fact that we never saw any of these rose quartz in any flashbacks, is that they were made pretty soon before they were all bubbled, which implies that Rose might have created hundreds of people just to imprison them possibly forever, so that her gemsona wouldn't seem suspect to her sisters, which is not a good thing. I don't think I need to tell you that that's not a good thing. But we do see that the Zoomin are now in charge of the space station and have been since Era 3 started, and it seems like prior to that, the Famethyst were in charge rather than Holly, which answers the question of whether or not the Zoomin were okay. Satisfactorily, I think I'm okay with this. I wish we had been shown that that was the case earlier than now, but I'm okay with this anyway. And also, since the start of Era 3, since all gems were freed, it seems like the Zoomin took that to mean that they should free those bubbled rose quartz. So now Steven has 3 rose quartz over to dinner because they were interested in meeting him. And one of them is that Rose that I thought was a flashback of Pink Rose that we saw in the trailer. And she just looks that much like Rose. And it's super awkward the entire time. The other 2 look less like Rose, but they all have personality traits which, when put together, like if they fused into a Mega Rose Quartz, I imagine she would be very much like Rose was. It's very interesting, and I like that they did it. I like that they sort of broke Rose's persona down into 3 parts and gave us 3 characters based on them. But it was super weird, man. And this is that other comedy episode I was talking about. I mentioned that Guidance is more traditionally like slapstick funny, but there was one that was awkward, please kill me funny. This is that one. And of course Steven is super awkward around these people who don't know him, and they didn't really know his mom, even though they're so much like her. And they see him as the hero who saved them, and so he feels obligated to at least humor them a little bit. And he doesn't want to hurt them by saying he doesn't want them around because they bring up weird stuff. And the other crystal gems, and Greg especially, are no help, because Amethyst is off with the Famethyst, and Pearl can't be around them, and Garnet almost seems weirdly attracted to them, and that seems to make her awkward, so she runs away. Or maybe she was worried that one of them was attracted to her, and that made her feel awkward, so she ran away. It's hard to read Garnet sometimes. Point is, they don't want to be around these people, and so Steven has no one to turn to, and he's floundering. And then they realize that he doesn't want them around, and they think it's something they did. They don't realize at first that it's just because he's been through so much. But then we find out that they have all this baggage related to Rose too, and then boom, they have something to relate to each other about, and they start to think of each other as siblings, and it's super cute. And there are a lot of episodes of Steven Universe where things go from wholesome to like crazy or awkward so fast that it gives me whiplash. But I can't remember the last time it was the other way around. And it was a super enjoyable experience. And these characters were set up really well. I expect that we're going to see them again. I certainly hope we do. They go back to the Zoo space station, which is a ship now somehow. And they decide they want to live there at the end. But I imagine we're going to see them again. And I certainly hope we do, because I like them a lot. And I will say, though, earlier in the episode, when Steven was still super awkward around them, when things were still super awkward, I kind of just wanted them to leave. I wanted it to be over. And by the end, it was exactly the opposite. So I kind of went on the same character journey as Steven for this one. And that's some super good writing to make me feel that along with the characters. That's super good writing. I liked it a lot. Very good episode. Super fun. And I want to get to know every single one of the Famouthist. Because it looks like... And Holly. I want to get to know Holly better, too. Because it seems like they've all been leading very interesting lives for the last 2-ish years. And I want to get caught up with them. This episode, though, it broadened the world a lot. It made me feel like this post-war universe that Steven has created is more real, and there's actually stuff going on in it, which was a nice touch. They also finally get rid of the big stinking picture of Rose. Steven moves it to the Lion Zone, which I think, frankly, it's about time, right? Oh, and yet another thing from that trailer that they were completely lying about. Steven rushing to turn off the tape of Rose talking to him was not because of some greater trauma that was going on at the time. It was because one of the Rose Quartzes accidentally turned it on when she was looking for another movie for them to watch. Which, I mean, it's still related to Steven's traumas, but not in the way that we thought, not in the way that the trailer implied. That trailer was nothing but lies, man. Nothing but lies. I'm over it, though. Or else if I keep telling myself that I'm over it, I will eventually get over it. It's fine. This is fine. As per usual, though, guys, what did you think of Rosebuds? If you have seen it, let's get a discussion going in the comment section down below, or over on the Discord, link in the description. But either way, this has been AJ22, and I will talk to you guys later.